Hey everybody, Vincent St. Louis here. Just a quick little video here. I'm sitting in my car, just kind of sitting here waiting, kind of thinking about our business, the network marketing profession, if you will. If you are in another company, whatever company you're with, it's all the same. Maybe even you're in real estate or something. You're in some sort of a relationship business where you have to meet people and communicate with people. And I was thinking about, my wife and I have been talking a lot about out there, and when you're out there in the hunt, you're out there in the what I call prospecting mode. And I started thinking about, they call it introvert or extrovert. I don't know, they got a name for everything nowadays, and I never knew that there was a name for how I feel when I'm around people. And an introvert is very now, I wouldn't say shy, but I guess that's the correct word for it, where it just, when you're around a crowd of people, it sucks the life out of you, sucks the energy out of you. And an extrovert is energized by being around a bunch of people. And if you ever go to a mixer, chamber events, any group where you're mixing and mingling with people, it's really very, very uncomfortable for an introvert. For myself, it's like one of the worst things you could ever do to me. And yet there's other people that can walk around the room and they're on fire, they're excited, they're energetic, and they love it, and they feed off of that. That's not me. But my point of this conversation, of this little video, is letting you know that it's okay, that's who you are, maybe your core, for whatever reason it is. But you can force yourself to get through that for a higher cause. Whatever your purpose is, whatever you need, your desire, you want, your need, whatever it is that you really want. Because I have recruited hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people into the network marketing profession. And I am one of the most introverted people you'll ever meet. I remember one time my good buddy Mel Vesley and I were going to a mixer chamber event in Sacramento, California, and we go in there, and he is an extrovert. Him and I are like totally opposites. And he's walking around the room, he's meeting people, and he comes back, and I'm standing there kind of behind this big tree, fake plant thing, and I'm just standing there just kind of staring at the people, and it's the most uncomfortable thing for me. And he's like, "What are you doing, man? Let's go. There's people everywhere. These people are sharp. Look at all these business cards I've already got." And he's fired up and excited about it. I'm like, "Dude, this is killing me." And you force yourself to go create an awkward conversation. Those things never really appealed to me because it's just so uncomfortable for me. It's so not me to create a conversation with somebody there. But I do have ways of getting myself out of that shell and forcing myself to go out there and meet people, even though it's uncomfortable for me, and it's taxing for me, and it's exhausting for me. And one of the best ways that I do it is I go into presentation mode. It's like Superman. You put on your Superman cape and out the door you go. For me, I have to be consistent. Boom, 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 boom. Every single day, I have to be consistent. One of the challenges is, this is the first time in my network marketing career, well, not the first time, because I did it back in the 90s, but first time in a long time. I've been kind of semi-retired for the last 8 to 10 years, and now I've got a job. I'm sitting out in front of the office waiting on them to open up the office, and I sit behind a desk and a computer and a drafting table all day long. And then when I get off work, I've got to change my mental attitude. I got to change everything. I got to put on my Superman cape, and I got to go out there and prospect and meet people. And so it was easier for me when I was doing it every day, all the time. I'd wake up in the morning, that's all I thought about. And if it took me 2 or 3 or 4 hours to gear myself up, get myself into a mental place where I could go meet people, then that was okay, because I had all day. Now I don't have all day. I've got virtually 3 hours, give or take, to do that. And if I'm doing home meetings or I've got one-on-ones, then that period of time is lessened. And so I have to get me and myself into that perfect state quicker. And for some of you guys, this makes no sense, because you're already enjoy that department. And I'm telling you guys right now, if you're that person, you're missing the boat. You can cash in on your love for that in massive amounts. Go out there and sponsor 100, 200 people. Why not? It's good for you. It's easy for you. You enjoy it. It's obviously, it's something that energizes you. Why wouldn't you do that? Here you got somebody that's scared to death of people, that's scared of his own shadow, and I've sponsored hundreds of people. Hundreds of people. I did over 180 people into Monavie. And I'm not saying that you're going to have to sponsor that many people. I don't know how many people you're going to have to sponsor to get where you want to be with your company. But whatever the number is, it is. You're going to be better at certain things. You're going to, there's a lot of different variables there. Most people aren't going to have to. I tell people all the time, you'll never have to work as hard as me. I'm positive of that. So if you look at Vincent's the worst and maybe Rob Alwyn's the best, somewhere in between there, you're going to land. And that the number of people that you're going to have to recruit. But you've got to get into a place where you can force yourself and find ways that make it a little bit easier for you. And so I'm going to give you some pointers here of some things that make it easier for me. One of the things is I love my wife and I, before, and just so you understand, in case don't have the support of your spouse, every business I ever built, 90 to 95% of it was me. Carrie would show up to the big meetings. She would support me. She never discouraged me, but she never went out there recruiting. I wouldn't say never, almost never. So it was all me, or almost all me. And now she's engaged because we're at a different place. The kids are grown up. The grandkids have moved out, and we're at a different place in our life. And now we're kind of working together. And she's pushing herself to get out of her shell and her comfort zone to help support our team and our future. And so, but one of the things I love to do is Saturdays and Sundays we get together and we go to open houses. There's thousands of open houses every weekend, hundreds of thousands of realtors. And so we go to open houses on Saturday and Sunday. That's just our day. We go and eat lunch at a nice place. During lunchtime, we hit probably, some could be 5 to 10 open houses. Some were there longer, some were not there that long. Meeting the realtor, talking to other people that are at the open houses. This is comfortable for me. It's still uncomfortable, but at least I'm not wandering around Target or Walmart with my spear trying to run over people with my shopping cart to create a conversation. That is the most uncomfortable thing and unnatural thing to me that I could ever do. And going to mixer and chamber events, those things, they're horrible for me. And then another thing is I do what I call friendship farming. Friendship farming to me is I will go and find like a strip mall where there's not like the mall you go inside, but outside there's usually 5 to 10 to 15 different stores, and most of the stores are, a lot of them are chain stores like pizza places, things like that, but a lot of them are mom and pop stores, bookstores, candle stores, pet stores, workout, whatever you think of. And I just go in there and I go in and they say, hey, can I help you? No, actually I'm between appointments and I'm just, wasting some time, so to speak. Hey, how you doing? What kind of shop you got here? Is it your shop? Do you work here? Is it your own job? And I just start asking questions about that. I'm friendship farming. I'm looking for a want and a desire. I'm not there pretending to be shopping. I let them know I'm between appointments. I just got some time to waste. I've never been in this area, or I've never been in this store. And I just ask them questions about them and about the business, what they are, who they do, and you get into conversation. A lot of those places are very slow. They're not that busy. And a lot of times you end up meeting the owner of the place. And so you can get into a conversation, and I'm always 99% of the time, I do what I call the two-step approach. I'm not going to get into, I want to control the point of contact. I want to always control the point of contact, invite, and the point of presentation. I do not want somebody asking me 20 questions. I do not want to get in there. So I'm always conversation, getting information, gathering information about them. And then at the end, I say, hey, look, it's great meeting you, Tony. I look forward to talking to you. Great, good luck with the business. And I get ready to leave. And I say, you remember the old show Columbo, where he'd always walk away and he'd say, hey, by the way, and that last question he always asked them was the one that nailed them and got him the information he needed. And I say, hey, by the way, Tony, you seem like a sharp person. You open other opportunities, or I'd like to contact you later. I got something I think might help you with whatever you said, or something like that. And I get a name and a number. or I grab their business card off the counter or whatever. And then my goal is always to contact the person within 24 to 48 hours. Anything after that, they forget about you. They see people all day long. You're just a blip on their radar throughout the day. So you want to make sure that you contact them on a regular basis. I mean, as soon as you possibly can. I see people are commenting. I'm not really good at that. I'm too ADHD. So I'll read all the comments later. Hello to everybody that's on here. But so you want to make sure that you contact them as soon as you possibly can, and it's just very simple and quick contact. Look right here. I've got a list of business cards that I've been contacting that I met this last weekend, and a couple of mortgage people that sometimes open houses, a realtor or have a mortgage person. I've scheduled 3 one-on-one appointments from just this past weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the people that I met that we collected cards from. Some of the people, hey, we don't collect cards from everybody. Some of the people just don't qualify, and you can tell it in a conversation. And it's amazing the differences of realtors and how they run their open houses. But anyways, in the conversation, I give him a call. As a matter of fact, I'll give you one right here. So I'm not going to give you his real name just in case he's watching me on Facebook. But hey, Tony, this is Vincent. We met at the open house yesterday, or I met you at XYZ store yesterday. Hey, listen, I really enjoyed our conversation. You struck me as a really sharp person. Listen, I work with a lot of people in the real estate, the mortgage industry. I work with a lot of people that are entrepreneurs, a lot of people that are looking for other opportunities. Whatever you say, depending on the situation. And hey, listen, you seem like a pretty sharp person. Are you open to looking at other opportunities outside of what you're presently doing, as long as it didn't take away from what you're doing? And if I'm doing with realtors, I always let them know. I work with a lot of real estate and mortgage people. This has nothing to do with real estate and mortgage. Are you open to looking at other opportunities completely outside of real estate or mortgage, whatever we're talking about, as long as it didn't take away from what you're presently doing? And sometimes I'll even throw in there, as long as the return on your time was worth it. And that's all I'm looking for. And then they say, well, yeah, what do you got? Can you send me some information? I do not do that. I do not send them a video. I do not text them a video. I don't send them anything. I say, look, you can't, what I'd like to do is schedule 10, 15 minutes with you. Let's schedule a time. We can have a cup of coffee. I can share with you what we're doing. And they say, well, can't you send me something? No, I sorry, it's not going to do value to you. It's like you can't do an open house over the phone. You can't test drive a car over the phone. We need to sit down. If it's not worth your time, if you're just curious but you're not really open, that's fine. I don't want to waste your time or my time. And you kind of take it away from them. But you want to schedule an appointment. Honestly, you're going to get a lot of cancellations. I always text an hour before my appointment, make sure that they're still going to be there, and then you're going to get a lot of that. But that's what cold prospecting is. You just got to keep following up with people. Hey, I don't know if you heard my story. One of the realtors I did with when I was with Monavie, I followed up with him for 3 to 6 months. I can't remember exactly how it was. His name was Jerry. He was a realtor. He was out of the industry. He was a pool cleaner. He never no-showed me. He always texted me and said, hey, I can't make it. I'm running late, blah, blah, blah. For 6 months, I followed up with this guy. He ended up sponsoring one person, his son, Cliff. Cliff went emerald in my business. Would it be worth you to, hey, I don't bug these people. I don't hound them. I've got so many people. I've got so many prospects that I'm talking to. So many people in my calendar that I'm working with. These people, a lot of times they slip through the cracks. A lot of times I will find them, oh man, I haven't talked to this person in a long time. I remember they told me, not now. And I go back, and you'll never run out of people because you made an impression on them. You contacted them soon after you met them the first time. I promise you, they will not remember you. They'll say they did, and you'll walk up, and you can see it in their eyes when you meet them. They'll be like, oh, now I remember that person. But I hope this helps somebody to go out there and push yourself, because not everybody is comfortable with the prospect. But the reality, this business is about prospecting. It's about contacting, inviting, sharing, and showing the plan. That's it, period. And if you don't have a large list, and I was going to show you my phone, but I'm talking to you on it, your phone is the #1 way. But once you get through that, what are you going to do? You're going to roll over and wet on yourself? You're going to quit? You're going to give up? No. You've got a story to be told. People want to know. You know what? You know why people people like to hear, and I don't say this to boastful, it's really hard for me to say, but people like it because they know I fought the fight like you're doing. Who wants to be up there? Who wants to hear about somebody that has, got in, they brought their team over, or they already, they had all that in a bag of chips. They talked to 5 people, 2 of them got in, and they went flipper dipper. Nobody wants to hear that. I mean, yeah, I want to hear that as long as it's in my team. But the reality is, most of the people out there are struggling. Most of the people have a challenge going out there and meeting people. But let me tell you, you have to do it. And I'll promise you this. It's a lot easier to do it faster, meaning do more of it, do massive action, instead of every day you feel lazy. Every day you got to get out. Let me tell you, I am drained by the end of the day. I sit on 2 computers, draw in AutoCAD, architectural, structural engineering. That's all I do, 9 hours a day. When I get off work, my head, it feels like it's going to explode from the inside out. But you know what? I've got to change my state of mind. I've got to change things up. I got to get my energy level up. I've got to get moving. I've got to, I'm almost a month now with no coffee, but you know what? I'm thinking I've got to get back to drinking coffee after work because I need that boost of energy. I need it now. I take 6 to 7 shots of the Viseo energy now, and that keeps me going for a long period of time. But sometimes you're just exhausted. You just need that. You need a shot. I need an espresso, a triple shot. But you've got to get going. And I want you to understand something. If this is the most uncomfortable thing you've ever done in your life, I want you to understand there's only one thing that will change your that fixes fear. There's only one thing that builds your self-confidence. There's only one thing that makes it easier. There's only one thing. Out of all the things, there's only one thing that will help you to get through it, and that is action. Trust me, the only thing that's going to get you through it is you to force yourself to do it and do it. Hey, look, I hate going to the gym. I've never been a workout person. I despise, there's nothing worse, what a waste of time is going to the gym. There's people that love it. My son spends like 2-3 hours there. It's like, golly, I'm 20 minutes on the treadmill, 5 minutes on the treadmill. I'm like, this is stupid. I do it because I love my grandchildren. I want to be around for them. And I know that I sit my butt in a chair all day and I have to do something. And so I go to the gym, even though it's miserable. But you know what? The more I do it, another thing, another kind of analogy. I made a goal. I was going to write down my goals every single morning and every single night before I went to bed. And you know what? I forgot to do it this morning. It just dawned on me. I forgot to do it this morning. And so I got to start over with my 30 days in a row of writing down my goals every night and every morning. But you know what? It's a trained thing. It becomes easier. It becomes a habit. And taking action becomes a habit. Taking action, going out there and doing it, even though it sucks, even though it hurts, even though it's uncomfortable, even though you feel uncomfortable when you do it. It doesn't matter. You know what? I'm going to grab my phone again. What I do is I get the phone number out and the follow-up call's hard and I say 3, 2, 1, boom, and I just hit send and I pray they don't answer the phone. I still do that now. But you know what? It becomes easier. And I love it when they answer the phone and what comes out of my mouth is good stuff because I've done it over and over and over and over again. I'm confident that whatever position I get put in, whatever comes out of my mouth is the correct thing. Only reason why I'm confident is that because I've talked to thousands of people. Maybe you've never done that before, but you're going to, every time you do a little bit more, every time you do a little bit I hope we're back for a minute. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up, you guys. It's like putting sand in a glass. You got a jar and you put sand in there. You're not going to notice much. Every grain of sand or salt, you're not going to notice much. I promise you guys, you are changing your life every time you contact someone, every time you push yourself, every time you do it, every time what you learn, even though you don't understand it, you don't realize it, what you learn, every time you hear somebody else do a presentation, every time you hear a conference call, every time you do one yourself, you grow and you change your future forever and the future of other people because you start growing. And if you keep putting sand in there, sooner or later, later, the jar's going to be full, and one day you're going to look up. It's like your grandkids, like, holy cow, how'd you get so big? Well, how did you fill up your bucket? You filled up your bucket by doing and doing and doing and doing, and you forced yourself to do when you didn't want to do it. And that's the only way you're going to get there. The only way you're going to get yourself out of